Hi everyone, this is Kodhai and welcome to my YouTube channel. Today we will be learning a little bit about monochromatic watercolor paintings, which means paintings using one color. So I have chosen Payne's Grey. So I will be using only this color to make all the paintings for this tutorial. So when I say monochromatic, it just means from the darkest value till the lightest value of this one color comprises that entire color. So we will be using only the different values of Payne's Grey today to make the painting. So I will be swatching out the color and making a chart from the darkest value till the lightest value. So you can see the values of Payne's Grey here. I will be using Bao Hong Academy watercolor paper. So this paper is 100% cotton and it is 300 GSM, which is a very good grammage for watercolor paintings. And I've already divided the paper into 3 sections and separated them and stuck masking tape. So, you get a clean edge while painting. Like I mentioned earlier, we will be using Payne's Grey for this painting, and I showed it the other way around, sorry. So this is from Mijello Mission Gold. And now what I'm creating is just 3 values, which will just be for handy use, so I don't have to keep mixing the color that I need. So I'm adding different amounts of water in every well. So the darkest shade will have the least amount of water and the lightest one will have more water. Also, the paper pad is not entirely flat, it has a slight inclination which will help the pigment flow down and blend more smoothly. So, if you can make it incline, it will be great. So, I'm starting with the first painting and I'm just adding a plain wash of water. Now I'm taking the lightest value and just adding tabs of it to create a cloud or like a cloudy sky. So this, you don't have to follow any pattern for this. It can be random. So just put spots of the paint on the wet paper and it will merge automatically. Just leave some negative space, white space in between. So then those will look like the clouds in the end. As you can see, the pigment has slowly started moving downwards, and what we're going to do is just going to add more pigment in some places to make it a little more darker. So watercolor actually dries lighter than you put it, so don't be too hesitant to add a dark wash. When it dries, it will automatically become lighter. And now I'm just going to blend everything out and create like a straight edge. Now I'm using the middle value to create a meadow. So it's just simple strokes. I'm just creating a slightly slanted line and filling it in. I'm not being very even, adding some more pigment to some areas, leaving some space in between to give it some depth. Now I'm adding another layer with the darkest value. So this is going to look like a small hill sort of thing. So I'm just going to use the darkest value and create a shape of a hill. And it's okay to let it touch the wet edges of the sky and the meadow, because when the water blends, it will give a very interesting effect, which you will see soon. So, also, I decided not to have any music in this video and just let the background ambient noise be, because you can hear some really nice bird sounds, probably even doors closing occasionally, or maybe people talking. But I think that's okay, that feels natural to me, so I'm going to let it be. Also, I lost a little bit of footage in between, so there's this sudden time lapse. I'm sorry about that. So I just added some bushes. It's pretty simple to do. And after that, now we're going to add a branch which is going to be in the foreground. So it has to be darker than the background, which is slightly blurry, to create the illusion of, something being forward and something being far away. The branches are just simple disjointed lines. We don't want it to look super connected. And the leaves are just going to be dabs with the brushes. They literally just look like dots. So just dot some leaves with your brush. We're almost done. I'm just going to dry brush some strokes onto the meadow, and then we can move on to the next painting. For the next painting, we'll again be starting with a wet wash. So we'll try to create a gradient wash, which means it's going to be dark on top and fade into light as it flows down. I'm going to lift the pad and like tilt it more so that the pigment flows down more easily, and I'll also make the sky a little more darker. Now I'll be adding few drops of plain water on the wet sky. So this is going to generate an effect called bloom because it resembles a flower, and once this bloom grows, it's going to look like clouds. So this is how you create clouds without negative space. Next, we'll be creating the water. So we're going to create a beach. So again, we'll be using a lot of dry brushing. The dry brushing technique will help retain some white space in between the paint. That's going to look like ripples, reflections, and waves crashing against the shore. I'll again be using the darkest value to create the shore. So it's just going to be a simple plain wash. I'm just going to follow the line of the wave. I'm not going to make it straight, and I'm just going to fill this in. And similar to how we created the clouds, I'm going to add a few drops of water in the place where the waves meet the shore, just to make it slightly lighter, to indicate that there might be some water there, and it might be reflecting some light. Now I'll add a few strokes with a darker color on the water to indicate a little bit of depth, but we want to make sure that all of the light behind this is not covered, because otherwise it's just going to look like a dark wash, which we don't want. We want it to be slightly dynamic. Using the darkest value, I'll also be adding a few birds in the sky. So with that, we are done with the second painting as well. We'll be moving on to the third one. So for the third painting, again, we'll be using dry brushing and we'll be creating a mountain with it. And for dry brushing, we always use a slightly smaller brush because it retains less water. And because it retains less water, the flow is inconsistent and it leaves some gaps in between. And those gaps and negative spaces is what gives this technique character. So we're going to use that and create the mountain. I will be adding some dark patches to create shadow later on. Now we'll add another layer of mountain below. So this is going to be simple. It's going to be a solid mountain shape with like a clean wash. We are not using any special techniques here. Next, we'll be creating a water effect. Again, we'll be using the lightest value to create the initial wash, and we'll build on this with strokes from darker values. And again, we shouldn't cover the lighter value entirely, it should show in between. Now, again, to bring in the concept of depth, we'll have like the darkest value strokes concentrated in the front because that is the closest to us. We'll finish off with a simple sky. So we'll add a flat wash of water and then put in some dark value at the top and create an uneven line which will blend into a huge cloud. I'm also adding a lighter value at the bottom half to create a shadow effect. Now we're done with all the paintings, and I don't know whether you learned any techniques from me today or not, but the most important thing is to let go and not try to correct any mistakes that happened. So, watercolor is a medium that flows freely, and it's important to embrace that. Now we can just peel off the masking tape, and we're done. I hope this video brings something positive to look forward to. So, thank you so much for watching. Stay safe.